for today will be how to help your child score for PSLE English. Okay, it's a 1-hour talk. Tentatively, it will be about a 50-minute talk. Then we will have time for some Q&A. Hopefully, I actually received some questions before the talk, so I will be addressing them here as well. Okay, so if you are ready, shall we begin? We have some people starting to come in now. Okay, just to ask, most of you, your children are in primary 5 this year and will be taking PSLE next year, just for me to know your expectations and what you need. So most would be, all of you, I would assume that you are having a P5 child this year and you are preparing your child for PSLE next year. Anyone just want to see how the prep, all right? Okay. So let's begin. Okay, just for introduction, my name is Jasmine. Okay, I have a Bachelor of Arts in English and English Literature, MOE trained, primary school MOE trained. I've been an EduFront tutor for about coming to 4 years. Just some background knowledge as well. I have a P6 child this year taking PSLE. She took PSLE. So later along the way, I'll be sharing my personal experience with you as well, how I prepared her. And I hope that will be useful for you as well. So my slides, right, what happened is that my slides are such that it is not a matter of just reading and then you would know what I'm going to say. I'll be putting in a lot of my experience as well as what I went through with my own child as well as with the students in EduFront. And along the way, maybe you like to take down your notes or just to, get an idea of how we actually teach English. Because I have friends who would always tell me things like, Jasmine, I come from an English-speaking family. My child has been speaking English since the day he or she has been born. Why is it that my child is not able to score for English? Does any one of you have the same query as well?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I hear this very, very often from my friends because, we in our mommy groups, right? We tend to have friends with the same age group of children. We will be like in the 2010 mommy group and things like that. So then this is a very, very common question and the parents are so lost and exasperated. It's like, from young, we have been speaking English. Why? Why is it that cannot score in compre, cannot score in oral? What is wrong? Okay, the main issue about English and all language is that it is not just a matter of exposure. As what we have been taught when we were younger, right? It's like, read more, read more. But we ourselves been through it. When we read more, how come we ourselves, we can't score as well? So just wanted to come in with this talk, break it down to bite-sized information on how and why it is difficult for your child to score. And the fact that you have a year ahead of you to prepare your child, you have ample time. Okay, I will not go into the technicalities, but I will actually give you tips and guidance on how to use answer keys or how to look at your child's work and be able to find out, oh, okay, this is where he or she needs a little bit more help. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, just to break down the format of the PSLE English paper. PSLE English paper is about 200. And what happens is that the marks will all be divided by 2. Okay, so listening comprehension will be 10%. Oral itself, reading passage, 5%. Stimulus-based conversation, 10%. Paper 1, 27.5. Paper 2 will be 47.5. So if we actually look at the breakdown properly, what happens is that oral, stimulus-based conversation, and paper 1 itself actually takes up a very high percentage of the English marks. But that is also where most parents actually sort of don't really pay much attention to. They'll be more focused on paper 2 because when they see paper 2, oh, it's a 0.95, and then they'll go like, but on the other hand, if your child is able to score well in paper 1, oral and stimulus-based conversation, which will be where my priority will be at today, okay, then you will be able to guide your child. The fact that you are already here today, right, shows an enthusiasm and the willingness to be able to be there for your child. So I hope, really, really hope that whatever that is being shared today will be helpful for all of you. Okay, so let's go. Okay, let's go straight into it. Oral and stimulus-based conversation. Let's look at what PSLE require from your child. Okay, because sorry, I'll need the parents to actually mute. Thank you very much. Okay, remember when we were saying, right, my child speaks English from the day he or she is born, how come cannot? So let's look at it. Let's see what PSLE actually requires your child to do. And then in a way, it will be able to enlighten all of us as to, oh, it's actually not as simple as just speaking. It's not as simple as just exposure. What is it that the exam wants from my child? So let's take a look at these 4 requirements. First one would be to read with good pronunciation, clear articulation, appropriate intonation in order to convey the information, ideas, and feelings in a passage. Let's put it this way. Even as adults, we have problems with this. Okay, so the second requirement, produce a well-paced, fluent reading of a passage. Third requirement, express their personal opinions, ideas, and experiences clearly and effectively in conversing with the examiner. And the last one, speak fluently and with grammatical accuracy using a range of appropriate vocabulary and structures. I mean, like, wow, any of you read this and go, oh, this is what they want from my child. It is not easy. It is very technical. They are breaking it down into, they want pronunciation, they want articulation, they want intonation, all in one passage of reading. So in a way, as parents, right, understanding that this is what's required from my child will actually help us to empathize with our child that this is actually not as easy as we thought that it would be. Why is it that my child can only get 12 upon 20? Why is it that my child can only get 14? I mean, he or she can speak English so well, but what is the issue? So now you know, oh, okay, it's actually pronunciation, articulation, intonation. AO1 and AO2 will be more for the passage reading. AO3 and AO4 will be more for your stimulus-based conversation. Let me share with you how I help my child with oral passage reading. Okay, so what I did for my child, right, was that from the beginning of her P6 year, what I did was that I would ask her to read a passage for me every day via WhatsApp. So what she would do was that before her dinner, right, she would take an oral passage out. Then she will read it via WhatsApp, and then she will record it, and then she will send it to me. Now, why? If you do this with your own child, it takes only maybe maximum of 2 minutes a day. Not a lot of effort. In fact, you can even ask your child to read the same passage, right, 5 times, 5 days, over a week, 7 days. No issue. You don't need your child to actually read a new passage every day. Not necessary. Because your intention for your child is for pronunciation, articulation, and intonation. So what happens is this, just 2 minutes a day, he or she were to record it via WhatsApp or via audio recording, or if you would like to bond with your child can actually sit in front of you to read it to you on a daily basis. Trust me, it is a guarantee, all right? End of November, you will see your child improve by leaps and bounds. Just as simple as that. 2 minutes effort daily. Guaranteed, you will see an improvement. In fact, if there were certain words that you actually see that, oh, your child is not able to pronounce, you can actually just help him or her out. You do not, okay, this is life hack for parents, yeah? You do not need to listen to it daily as well. All you need to do is just get your child into this habit of reading 2 minutes a day. You do not need to listen to it daily. But what you can do is every few days, you just listen it one time, you will see a big improvement. Number one, what is the improvement? Pronunciation will improve. Articulation will improve. Intonation will improve because your child gets used to reading. This is, just as I said, a tip to share with you. Minimal effort, maximum results. So do give it a try. In fact, if us adults, when we adults, we have problems with presentation and things like that, doing this help us as well. Okay, so that is for oral passage reading. 2 minutes a day, due PSLE oral, these 10 marks, these 20 marks, your child will be able to score quite high. All right, so that is for the reading of passage itself. Everyone okay so far? Because I'm not able to see faces. I'm not able to engage all of you. So is everyone okay so far? If you're okay, kindly just say yes, no. All right, thank you. So that is for just for passage reading. Next one to talk about, which is where your child would struggle the most, even adults struggle the most. Let me share this with you. Stimulus-based conversation. Okay, let's look at AO3 and AO4, shall we? Express their personal opinions, ideas, and experiences clearly and effectively in conversing with the examiner. I can already see a lot of issues with AO3. Number one, our children are, if your child is an introvert, just doing the first 3 is near impossible for your child. The child would struggle. And the worst thing is with the examiner, an examiner that your child does not even know. He or she will be facing 2 examiners during PSLE oral. That is intimidating itself. Okay, so my point is that I wanted to just sort of put us parents into the child's shoes, that this is something that isn't easy for your child. And then not only that, no, they have to express their own personal opinions. When, let's face it, we have P5, P6 children, when they come home from school, how's school? Okay. How's homework? Okay. Do you learn anything? Like that, come on, we all face that. Unless your child is a very chatty child, not very common, most of our children will be doing this. So personal opinion, ideas, and experiences will be hard. And not only that, they have to speak fluently and with grammatical accuracy, using a range of appropriate vocabulary and structures, So therefore, what do we do? Now, if we were to ask the child to speak randomly out of the blue, it is impossible, because even as us adults, if I were to come to you and I would say, hi, madam, can you please share with me your thoughts on the sale that is happening in Takashimaya right now? Even as adults, what will we be doing? We'll be glad, it's okay. I can see a lot of things that I want to buy. Things are cheap. You get what I mean? For us to be able to engage the examiner, sharing our personal opinions, ideas, and experiences out of the blue in an exam context, it's not easy. So what do we do for our students in order to make it easier for them? We give them a structure. We give them a structure to plan their answers. Because if we can't ask them to think on the spot, we have to assume that they cannot think on the spot due to exam stress, due to any possible reason. So what do? We give them a structure to be able to lean on, such that even when they are lost, they are able to follow this structure in order to give an answer. Okay, so what is the structure that I will usually teach my students? Will be the PIL method. Different schools will give different methods. Some is Oreo, some will be TRE. For me, I will go with PEW. Generally, they are all the same, just different acronyms. So what about the PEW method? So it'll be, first one will be your point, as in, do you agree or do you disagree? Then you explain your point. Why do you agree or why do you disagree? Thereafter, after you finish explaining that, you give your personal experience. This is where you have to, the child has to go and think of something that relates to it, which is, as you can see, is part of AO3, personal opinions. Okay? And thereafter, this is the part where the child would usually struggle the most. After they finish their personal experience, they would stop. And then the worst thing that you want is your examiner to go, do you have anything more to say? Have you finished? That is not what you want your examiner to do. You want your examiner to know exactly where you are going to stop. So how do you link it back? And the simplest way that I teach my children would be to link that is why I agree, or that is why I disagree with that. So there's a closure. There will be no awkward pauses, no awkward, as I said, no awkward pause whereby you will go, have you finished? And then that, that kind of staring that just stress the child up that you don't want. Okay, and contextual vocabulary is needed. So say, for example, what's contextual vocabulary? Say, for example, the topic at hand would be on recycling. You would need to use words that are related to this particular topic. So it'll be recycling, how to reuse, reduce, recycle, how to keep the earth green. You will have to use such words. You cannot use general words in order. The examiners these days, PSLE requirement these days, will be that you need to use the correct vocabulary as well. So later, I will also share with you what are the things that are needed for your child to be able to get contextual vocabulary. How do your child improve on contextual vocabulary? I will share that with you later. Okay, so now I'm just going to give you a real example using an answer key, because I was thinking just sharing this with you. Oh, okay, PEL, you have to know point, explain, experience, and link. But at the end of the talk, you'll be thinking, what? Okay, I have the point, but how is it done? You get what I mean? I don't want you to leave knowing just the theory of it, but I would want you to leave this talk being able to practice it with your child so that this is effective for you and your child, and then you all can grow together and sort of, enjoy this PSLE experience together for the coming year. Okay, so let me just share this with you, yeah? You're ready? Pen, paper, notes. Okay, give an example of a PSLE paper, okay? I'll give you 2 minutes to take a look. I've already given you the questions as well. So just take a look at it. Give you 2 minutes to prepare. This was a 2015 paper. So all your child would get for PSLE would be just the picture on the left, yeah? Definitely not the clues on the right. Okay, so just to briefly go through. Now, as you can see from the 3 questions on the right, A, B, and C, you can see very clearly that A will be all about the picture. And that is the requirement from your child as well. Whenever we ask question A, the child has to focus only on the picture itself, nothing more. Some children will go out of the picture or not even talk about the picture at all. Therefore, the first 4 words, look at the picture, basically means that your child has to only focus on the picture itself. This is a very important tip. Okay, so that is for question A. And as you can see from question B, that is where the personal experience, personal opinions start to come in. And the last one, usually they'll ask this kind of question. Would you like to? Would you be? And as parents, right, as long as we know that, oh, okay, how do we prepare our child? We know that when the minute the child sees a picture, the 3 questions will definitely be linked somehow to this theme. And what is the theme about? Supportive friend. It will be about friendship, near guaranteed. Why is this so important? Because in the 5 minutes preparation that your child gets during PSLE, you want your child to sit there and be prepared for any possible questions related to this particular theme. You don't want your child to just stare at the paper and go, oh, okay, supportive friend, or what? Okay, help me, play with me, listen to me, full stop. You want your child to be able to use that 5 minutes of prep time effectively, isn't it? Just like us, when we go for exam, we want to be prepared as well. So let's equip our children with this kind of skills. So we will tell our child, or look at the picture. First, always is about the picture. Second will be something about this theme. Third will be something about what you can do or what you can help with, things like that. So you have A, B, and C. So how does this peel method come in, which I was sharing with you earlier? I will talk about it in the next slide. Okay, so ready? Yeah, let's go. Okay, first question. How would you answer it? Please take a look at the answer key. Why did I intentionally give you the answer key? Because when you start to buy your assessment books and all that, all the answer key will be there, right? I intentionally took an answer key example for you, so I can break it down for you in order for you to be able to practice with your child in future with all answer keys. Okay, so let's see. So as you can see from the A question, please take a look at A question, yeah? And why did I give you the picture? Because if you look at the example of A question, it is only on the picture itself. That's what I want to emphasize for this stimulus-based conversation. All 3 bubbles were talked about. Play games like checkers, help me when I have difficulty, and in order to add on marks for this particular question. In fact, for here, right, you can see. Okay, give me a minute. So for this one, I would actually label this as the P part, the point. I would definitely like a schoolmate like this. So my point is I would like. Then after that, this is the explanation part, P-E-E-L, right? Explanation part. How does this child, this answer key explain? They take example from the picture itself. And for here, we have the next E, experience. And then how you link it, you can either put this as a link, or for my kids, usually I will say, and that is why I would definitely like the schoolmate like this. So this is how you break it down for your children. P-E-E-L. But the main thing is A, your explanation has to be from the picture. The minute you don't talk about the picture for question A, you will be penalized heavily. So that is for A question. And A question is actually the one that is easiest to score. Okay, so let me show you what is the B question then. The B question, I did not give you the picture anymore because B and C would not be related to the picture. So do you like making new friends? Why or why not for question B? So let me break it down again for you, your PEEL, so that it becomes something that's quite, you will be able to glean from your answer key in future, yeah? So Therefore, you will be able to see where your P is already, right? I like making new friends as I want to widen my social network. How do you explain? So what this child did is, this answer key did was to talk about no man is an island. So explain as to why it is important. So we have the PP is always a one-liner for your child to be able to gather his or her thoughts and then to lead on with my structure. I have talked about my P, my point. I move on to explain. So after I finish explaining, look, experience. I usually go swimming with my friends during the weekend. Okay, and then thereafter, when we have the link, you can go back to your link. How I usually guide my children with link will be, and that is why I like making new friends. That's the easiest way to be able to close your answer. And for the last question, as you can see, would you want to help a primary 1 pupil, right, for orientation? So therefore, think back now, most of you will be able to see, very obvious your P. I would like to be a buddy. Then you explain, I know how intimidating younger pupils might find. So there's a lot of explanation here. Then here will be your personal experience. If the child wants, the child will be bringing in. Personal experience is super important because let me give it in a very direct manner for all of you. The examiner will be facing so many children during PSLE, agree? The point would all be similar. Explanation for your answer would all be similar as well. What is the thing that differentiates your child's answer from the rest? Only personal experience. That is the only part that your child would be able to show his or her difference, to push the marks up. So with the teachers could be listening to 100 points. I would like to be a buddy. Could listen to 100 explanation. It is not easy for a primary 1 child. But the thing that actually grabs your examiner's attention would definitely be the personal experience. So how do I train my own child with this? Is that when we go out shopping or when we go out anywhere or when she comes back from a school trip, I will be asking her, share with me. Did you enjoy going? How did you feel about going to Singapore Flyer today? Then she will start. Oh, I enjoy going to the Singapore Flyer because that. And then personal experience, And what you can do is, right, as you communicate with your child, you yourself do the same thing back. Give your child your own answer. Put in your PEEL. And in that way, right, communication is structured, it is planned, but it can be on so many different topics. They're like, oh, mommy, why do you enjoy your job? Oh, okay, I enjoy my job because Let me share with you my experience is because when I teach children, and that is why. You know what I mean? Then, how do I put it? Preparation can be so fun in a way. Fun, meaningful, structured, and part of family bonding as well. Can be communication within family. Okay, so that is for stimulus-based conversation, and I hope that helps. Okay, so let's quickly move on to situational writing. Situational writing, there is a time to it. Whole thing takes 1 hour and 10 minutes for paper 1, situational writing and continuous writing. Stressful, very stressful. Children, usually we tell our students, do not spend more than 13 minutes on situational writing, preferably 11 to 12 minutes. Spend the 3 minutes on planning and the remaining 10 minutes on writing. Okay, so as usual, best to be able to empathize with our children is to look at our requirement, PSLE requirement, is to suit the purpose, audience, and context in a way that is clear and effective. So usually what we do, we short form it, we actually give an acronym PAC, purpose, audience, and context. So we use the appropriate register and tone Is it supposed to be a formal writing? Informal writing. Generate and select relevant ideas, organizing and expressing them in a coherent and cohesive manner. Use correct grammar, spelling, punctuation. That one is the basic. Use variety of vocabulary appropriately with clarity and precision. Wow. From a 12-year-old child. Okay. So what happens is, what I like to do is I like to actually tell my children that the purpose of situational writing is to prepare us for work in future. In future, when we apply for DSA, direct school admission, when we go to school, when we go to secondary school, sometimes we need to go for interviews as well. So this is how we actually prepare the children to know the context of their learning, to see that whatever they are learning is necessary and not just part of an exam. Okay, so this one is also another 2015 paper. Would like to just break it down for all of you again. Hope that that will help. Okay, so as I said, PSLE paper, for you to take a look at the left side first, what they will be facing, and the task that they will be facing as well. And imagine doing this with the time limit of 12 to 13 minutes. Okay, so just now remember when we talked about the requirement for situation writing will be purpose, audience, and context, right? Purpose would be this. Oops, sorry. Okay, so what is the purpose? Purpose is this one. This is the purpose. Very important. And your purpose should always be in the first paragraph. See, these are the little tips that are needed. It's not just aimless writing, or it's not just writing down everything inside your writing paper. There are requirements. One of the requirements is that the purpose will usually be given to you. You need to talk about this in your first paragraph, as you can see here. Audience will be who is with Paul. And the context is always formal or informal. So by virtue of the fact that it's written to your cousin to tell him about, so you know it's informal. Informal means being able to use informal language, but making sure it is not so casual that it is not acceptable. End of the day, this is still an exam. It's not, hey, dude. No, sorry. Your child might say, oh, why not? Oh, please remember, this is still an exam. Okay, so annotation, very important. Annotation is super important. It is so as not to miss out any information given. So now there are 6 points to situational writing. Always 6 points, 6 content points, and 9 for language. 6 content, 9 language. And PSLE tend to only give you 5 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you are required to find out 6 points from it. So this will be point 1. This will be point 2, point 3. This will always be 4 and 5. And this will be 6. Must always find out 6 points, yeah? Requirement, expectation. So why do you do this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because here, your job is to put your 1. Where he will be staying, here will be your 2. Where you will be taking him, 3. 2 things that you'll be doing, 4. Now, 4 and 5. What's the new experience? 6. All this will be done in the 3 minutes of planning that I was sharing with you earlier. Now, tips for situational annotate given to you here. Clear and concise. You are not required to write a letter or to give extra information when it is not required. No. Tell your child 13-minute paper only for this particular part. And as you can see from here, how do you sort in the answer? Yeah, this will be 1, 2. Where you'll be taking him? 3. See how concise the answer is supposed to be. And 4 and 5. 4, 5. And because this is an informal paper, so the informal context, we add on with sentence. My mother said you've never been on a cable car before. So therefore, what is the new experience? This will be 6. Conclusion is super important, not a one-liner. I hope you like it. Cannot wait to see you. What do you think of our plans? Would love to hear your answer. Would love to get your reply. And that is situational writing. Okay, everyone okay so far? Please let me know. Hope that it is useful so far. So as long as we break it down for our children, it's not just writing. It's not as simple as just write, just write. No, it's not a matter of you have been reading for so many years. What is the issue? You just write. No, it's definitely not that. Definitely not that. As you can see, right, each component of the paper can be broken down into all these little bits that are necessary to provide a structure for your child in order to do well. And it is so important for us to give our children that kind of structure. Another, yes, 9 marks would be language. How you link your answers together. Is it smoothly done? Is it done very naturally? Or is it that you take information here and there and you just slot them together? That will be your 9 marks for language, correct? And therefore, for language-wise, later I'll share with you what is needed to able to help your child with language. But again, I would say it is not a matter of you get to do it in 1 day, 2 days, and the child will be able to improve. Language is not like that. I think as we all know by now, every subject is not like that. It's really daily work, daily bits of work, few minutes a day, just in order to improve and make learning enjoyable for all of them. Okay, so that is for situational writing. I hope that's useful. Moving on to continuous writing. The part that actually scares students and parents the most. 40 marks, 20 marks on content, 20 marks on language. And if your child is always scoring in the mid-20s, what is the issue? Or if your child is always scoring in the low 30s, what is the issue? How do we push your child up just that little bit, just to be able to score that little bit more for the next AL? Let's take a look at this, and I hope that it will be useful for all of you. Okay, 50 minutes on continuous writing. Now, I'm going to be very, very blunt and honest with all of you. You will see for PSLE writing for the question paper itself, right? Let me show you. This is what your child would get. Write a composition of at least 150 words about an unexpected discovery. If your child were to only write 150 words, your child will not be able to score. That is the blunt truth. And I think sometimes we don't say that enough. If you would like your child to be able to score the 30s range, right, we are looking at about 400 words. And when we are talking about 400 words, we are talking about 4 pages, 4 sides, at least. Now, obviously, when we talk about 4 sides, we are not talking about just the quantity of the words. Why is it that we are being so blunt with you and telling you that you actually need to write definitely more than 150 words? And I'm not even telling you double. I'm actually telling you 400 words because you are writing a story. you need to have the content in order to flush out your introduction, flush out your characters, talk about your first problem. And you don't just give one problem and you end it, The expectation now from markers, from PSLE is that you give a first problem. After that, give a complication. So it's not just a matter of problem and problem solve. It doesn't work that way anymore. And that's why I just want to be very honest with all of you. Okay, if your child just give a problem like, oh, someone dropped my wallet, and then I found the wallet and then I return it to the owner, and that is my composition on honesty, your child will not score. At best 20s. Okay, so now we are looking at your child, maybe you lost the wallet, found the wallet, the child actually struggles, and then maybe bring the wallet to the Nintendo Switch shop and about to buy something from it. And something happened there that actually tell your child that, oh, I better do the right thing. That is the complication. We are looking at your content marks, being able to stretch from 10 upon 20 for content, stretch it to 15, 16, 18 marks. And then thereafter, your conclusion is important. Now, number 6 is very important. Descriptive language should be used, but only appropriately. Many children, what they are doing is that they are spending about 50 words in their introduction talking about the weather. It is a lovely sunny day. I can hear birds chirping outside my window, waking me up from my beautiful slumber. And you go on this way for your introduction for 6-7 lines. Okay, again, honest truth, that 6-7 lines will not give you any marks. It's wasted space. What is your intention for continuous writing? Continuous writing is that every line that you write must earn you marks. And I believe that's why you are here. You want to hear the tips, right? So this is the honest tip. Every line your child writes should earn you marks. And it's not just flowery language. Oh, Miss Jasmine said 400 words, right? So thereafter, so for 400 words, right? Thereafter, I'm going to spend 200 words giving me very descriptive flowery language and such that how come my child still cannot score? She must be lying. So I'm going to give you a composition next. I'm going to let you read it. I'll break it down for you. How come this child is able to score full marks, 40 upon 40 for this composition? And I thought that will be useful for all of you. Okay, so this paper is actually marked by her school teacher, not by me. And this child actually got 40 upon 40. I'm actually going to break it down for you how she used descriptive language and how every line of her writing is to actually help her to score for this particular component. So take a look at the title. 150 words, unexpected discovery. Now, the things that we usually tell our children is that just choose one picture. Okay, so we have a luggage. We have a cabinet over here. And we have here a picture frame. So what happens is that myself as a parent, when my child comes back with composition, she gets whatever marks that she gets. I'll be like, oh, but how to improve? How to improve? I always get back my child mark is always maybe 20 plus, 30 plus. How do I improve? So here we go. Let's take a look. Pardon the handwriting. I'm just giving you straight what the child actually did. So I'll just give you a bit of time to actually read this through. Share with you, just look at the first paragraph itself. I gasped in shock and surprise as I pick up the lemon brooch, my finger grazing the swirls of glistening gold that coiled around a snowy white crystal. This is written from a P6 child. Descriptive language is used effectively by describing this brooch. It is not used on, and as you can tell from the very first paragraph, this composition, this continuous writing should most probably be talking about this particular brooch. So where did Jacob get this from? Wake up. Okay, so as you can see from this particular paragraph, introduction, suspense. Started off with a question. Draw my audience in. It's not about the weather. It's not about me waking up. It is for this child's purpose is to grab the audience into this story. Keeping in mind again, let's be very honest, the markers are marking hundreds of papers daily. You want to draw their attention. So this is suspense, a question. Wake up, sleepyhead. I woke up with a start. As Jacob shook my shoulders forcefully, I glanced blearily over to his side of the room. His desk was spotless and his bed neatly, as if nobody had slept there the previous night. When I peeked at the clock, I realized it was only 7:15. What is the purpose of this paragraph? Let me break it down for you. This child is introducing characters. The characters of his or her story. Okay, this is written by a girl. Of her story. Her purpose of this paragraph is to talk about the character. And what about this character can you see from this paragraph? You can see that this child, Jacob, how is this Jacob like? He is a very neat person. His desk was spotless. His bed was made neatly. And he wakes up early. So you see, introduction of character in this story. And it is not just saying Jacob is a very neat boy. He's dressed very neatly. No, you don't need to do that. You can actually use this kind of things to actually talk about your character. Many students do not talk about their characters in the story. They only focus on themselves, on what I see, what I'm doing, what I'm going to do. All the side characters are not important. That is a mistake. Okay? And this is to talk about the main character's character, the main character's personality. How is this child like? It's the weekend, I want to sleep in. So what do you see from this particular child? This child, the sibling, sleepyhead, not very alert. These are things that the examiner will be seeing. Okay? No way. And one crucial thing, don't use common words. Say, tell, shout. You use this kind of words. Cry, scream, yell. This is language, the 20 marks of language that you want to score. Okay? As I begin to nestle back into my cozy bed, stop complaining and start doing your homework. Listen to me, your older brother. Again, introduction of character. And again, from the next page, Jacob loved to flaunt the fact that he was older than me and thus had more authority. It was so irritating. So you can see what kind of sibling relationship is this. Now you're starting to understand why when I tell you 150 words are not enough. You need to flush out your characters, make your story alive for your reader, for the marker. Okay, we started to bicker like an old married couple. And then the next character comes in. Mommy comes in. Poke her head in. Okay, why is she here? She's here to set the context for everyone. She's supposed to shoot us one piercing glare before disappearing as quickly as she came. Say, Jacob will say, I told you so. Roll my eyes, and they started to do their homework. Okay, so that is the beginning of the story. Telling you all the different things. What are the things? You don't read it and you go, oh, it's just beautiful language. It's not. What do you get from these 2 pages? You get the story. You get they are doing to do homework. You get the characters' personalities. You get that there is a mommy in this story as well. So you know that these 3 people will be talked about in this story. What's going to happen next? And look, may I borrow your correction tape? Okay. Now, remember I told you the problem happened. When we talk about the first problem that's going to happen. So you can see this child is following the structure. Introduction, character, and now the problem. And remember, we were talking about the 3 pictures, right? This child chose, very obviously, the wooden wardrobe. The wardrobe in the picture. So she flung open the wardrobe, so fulfilling the requirement of the picture component in this paper. And so what happens is with this wooden wardrobe, and the problem begins. The child found a diamond brooch, linking it to the very first sentence. So this is your problem. Problem came up. How come there's a diamond brooch? And remember, it could have been just if this girl were to say, oh, diamond brooch, and then went to ask Jacob, where do you get this diamond brooch from? Oh, this diamond brooch is that. Story end. You would have maybe gotten a low 30s. So how did this child stretch her content to the full 20 marks required? She introduced a conflict. This child thought that the brother stole the diamond brooch. You know, sort of like add an extra problem in. Ah, my brother stole this. So what should I do? Tell mommy. You start to see how the story blends together. All the different characters coming in. I go and tell my mom. See? So he quickly ran to tell the mom and told the mom, and you can easily be, and that is where the conflict comes in. What is the conflict? The conflict for this child was to tell or not to tell. This page that was given was to tell or not to tell. So that is the problem. Child got the conflict. So the child went to tell the mommy. And the mom said, I will go and ask him about it. And the child panicked. And how did the story end? Story ended by saying that it is actually a what? It's actually a gift for the mom. So if you want to look at the conclusion is not something that is super surprising. Mother Day gift. You know, it's quite common, no? Surprise gift, then Mother Day gift. It's very common, but it is how this child brings out a problem, brings out a conflict, and then manage to come to a resolution that it is a Mother's Day gift. And how did this child link it to the title? Remember what's the title? Very important. Conclusion must always talk about the title. It's an unexpected discovery. Do you see the link of it all from beginning to end of a well-planned composition? Always, I would say, the easiest way to be able to link your story to the title and remind the examiner that I know exactly what I'm writing about and I did not go out of point is to talk about the title again and the conclusion. So this is an example of, I think it's about 400 to 500 word essay to be able to score this kind of marks. And that's the requirement given. And I just want to be very honest and direct about it with all of you. So it's not a matter of just writing. As you can see, the planning involved. So the easiest way for planning, as I said, for my kids would be to tell her things like, first, character must be talked about. After that, when you talk about your character, talk about your problem, bring in a conflict, and this will usually be able to stretch your content marks to above 10. Thereafter, obviously, your language is also very important. And as I was sharing with you, don't use all the common words. Laugh, say, talk. Use verbs that are not, that can actually stretch your writing. And you can just sit down with your child. Okay, child, instead of saying the word say, let's list out all the different kind of words that we can use in relation to this verb. And then you come up with a list. Okay? So now, paper 2, we have all these components, 47.5%. In paper 2, I think by now most parents would be very, very familiar with how difficult paper 2 can be. It's a very technical paper. So what I would say, my tips for you for paper 2 would be this. You need to talk to your child. Which component is your child struggling with? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 components. Your child by now, after her P5 paper, would be able to emphasize, tell you exactly where is his or her problem areas. Target practice. Don't make your child do paper after paper after paper. I did that with my own child. I'll say, let's just do targeted practice, short and simple. Today, if you find that synthesis is your main issue, let's just do synthesis. No issue. We are talking about quality of revision, not the quantity of it. And communicate about a myriad of topics. Very, very important. Talk about anything under the sun, the news, whatever you read, your online, whatever that you see, is very important. Let me explain to you why. Because when we have things like comprehension close, it can be on any topic, you know. It can be about photography. Comprehension close is the close passage, nightmare part for most parents and students. It can be on photography. It can be on basketball. It can be on music. It can be on any topic under the sun. And if your child is not familiar with that particular topic, 50% of confidence gone. And the vocabulary needed for it, if your child is not sure of it, for example, if the topic is on photography, and they're talking about words like film, digital camera, things like that. If your child is not familiar with this particular topic, they will lose out on this kind of marks. So, and I also would like to emphasize on phrasal verbs and connectors and conjunctions. Let me explain why. These are phrasal verbs. You use this in vocabulary. You use this in your comprehension close. Basically, you see this in the entire paper too. Just a very simple word of look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if your child is not used to this, you'll lose a lot of marks in terms of vocabulary and vocabulary close. There are books that sells that is focused only on phrasal verbs and popular, in case you are keen. Flip through. Very important. Most children are weak in this. Most. Okay, so that's phrasal verbs. These are the things that I will emphasize to children to benefit paper 2 in general. All right, so that's phrasal verbs. Connectors. This is super important in all aspects of English, including paper 1 and oral. How, just now, a parent was asking me 9 marks on language for situational writing. Where do they come from? There, all these linking words. How you link your sentences together, how you link the 6 points together. It's not just short sentences, full stop, short sentences, full stop. How do you link them together? And it's not always just using and, or then, or so, or but. You can have however, although, unless. And all this is not just for situational writing, continuous writing also. Very important, as well as your oral, stimulus-based conversation. You don't just speak in short sentences, right? You want to link your ideas together coherently, which is also being tested. You need this. Our students tend to be very weak with connectors. Basically because, as I said, when our children come home from school, how's school? Okay. Housework? Okay. Tell me more? Nothing much. They are not used to articulating their opinions in long sentences. So in a way, I guess we parents have to use it ourselves as well. Okay? Okay, comprehension close. Remember I told you it's the nightmare section, right? I'm just going to write it here. And when we talk about targeted practice, if your child is weak in comprehension close, you would have bought comprehension close assessment books. These are the 8 clues needed for your child to be able to glean information on the answers needed. So can you imagine the kind of thinking processes that are required from your child to be able to score well in that comprehension close 15 marks? 8 clues, being able to identify the clue and to get the ideas and to get the answers. So I just wanted to share with you, why is it that the English paper is not easy? Why is it that your child might not be able to score as high as you think that your child should be able to score? This is the reason. It is definitely not easy. Okay, so as I'm drawing to a close, I'm a bit late, sorry. I want to share with you the recommended reading list. Some of you, I received questions saying, instead of just reading, can I share how to improve English other than just reading? I would like to share it's not just reading itself. I want to share with you what I myself get my child to read and how it helped her. Okay, so ever since she was in primary 4, she reads Reader's Digest. Okay, let me emphasize the Reader's Digest is a heavy read. It is a heavy read. Even I think most of us as parents, when we were younger, if I'm not wrong, if we are of the same generation, we would have seen this before. Okay, why do I keep telling all the parents and all my students Reader Digest? Number one, Reader Digest, the stories are very short. 2-3 pages maximum. Most children don't like to read. If your child likes to read, it is a blessing in itself. But for those that don't like to read, right? Reader's Digest is a lifesaver. Why? 2-3 pages, and what I love about it is that 2-3 pages, and your child gets introduced to all the different topics that I was emphasizing to you earlier, about photography, or maybe about basketball, or about appropriate diet. Reader's Digest do that very, very well, and only in just 2-3 pages. So, you know, your child reads it, your child at least is exposed to that particular topic. So what I do with my own girl, she reads one, then I'll say, can you share with me 2 things that you learned from this particular passage? So she'll verbally say, oh, okay, I learned that we get vitamins and minerals from fruits and vegetables. Or, you get what I mean? So just 2 things. I'm not asking her to summarize the whole thing. Just share with me 2 interesting things you read, full stop. So when we tell our children to read, and then they go off and they read and they come back, I finish. Say, yeah, you so fast, you finish? I mean, it's so common, isn't it? But then you see, this is how we engage our children in it. So Little Red Dot, I believe all of you would have, all the children would have gotten it from school. I Survive helps your child in vocabulary. Remember, we talk about don't use the basic words, or we use descriptive language. This is very, very good. Short and simple, sweet. Straits Time usually is quite a difficult read even for parents itself. I just put it here because it is so, it's sort of the must do. But on the other hand, it can be the parents reading it and sharing information as well. No harm. Okay, so these are the 4. And this was what I managed to find last year in Popular. It is a decade of creative writing for today's primary school pupils. So what happens is that this author, this person that actually wrote this, she compiled very good continuous writing from students all over Singapore. Very, very good writings. So if you want to talk about getting good language, being able to use linking words, this is very effective. So we are the Young Readers Club as well. And why did I put in young scientists? As I said, fiction and non-fiction. And as you can see, I tend not to tell you, oh, you need to read Harry Potter, or you need to read Lord of the Rings. I have to be very honest, in all my years of teaching, maybe entire class, I'll maybe find 2 or 3 that would read such things. So let's not make life difficult for all of us by forcing your child to do that. So as I said, learning should be fun, engaging, shouldn't be painful. You have a year to go. And as I said, by the fact that you are here engaged listening, trying to get tips for your child is already very blessed. Okay, so with that, I would end. I hope that it is useful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If not, then I would say farewell. Thank you for your kind attention. Can I have the recording of today's session? Okay. This one I would have to check with my colleagues. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Okay, thank you. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely Sunday. Thank you. Take care and all the best for PSLE next year. Bye-bye.